Today we're going to talk about what a business plan actually looks like. What does a document look like? What's in it? And then describe some of the elements of it. So let's go to the business plan template that I put together. This is actually I put it together for the winter class. And the students were instructed to just start with this and start plugging in the pieces as they did their research. They could just start writing in this template, and ultimately they would have a completed business plan. So we'll be doing a similar thing, but let's talk about the various parts. Usually in a business plan there's a cover letter, because this is usually business plan is being sent to some proposed financier, someone who's going to either provide debt capital or equity capital. Title page, table of contents to make it easy for people to find the pieces, and then an executive summary, because you want a very short explanation of what this is all about. Some people just really rely on that executive summary, and this needs to encapsulate everything that's in here in a very short way. Longer than the 30-second soundbite, but that 30-second soundbite needs to be included in that executive summary somewhere. How? Okay, so really you need to talk about the business, what the company is all about in a very short way, and what's the mission statement, and what are the management functions of it. Okay, then we need to talk about the external environment. So if it's in the case of a touring company, we need to talk about, for example, what the tourism industry is all about worldwide. How many people are going various places? Where are the favorite destinations? What kinds of money is being spent in this environment? So we need to talk about the current economic conditions. Is the world economy vibrant? Are the key sources of tourists? Are those countries doing well economically? Do people have money to buy your product or services? Industry analysis. This would really get down to the industry structure. Who's in it? Who's dominant? How does the industry work? So forth. And then the competitive analysis would be really focusing on who would be the main competitors in this niche or target audience. And with us, I'm thinking it's going to probably be Rhodes Scholar and Rick Steves, but like I say, there may be others that I've not found yet. So, because I'm looking at it from the United States perspective, and someplace else there might be somebody else that's very important. And for example, if we were to decide that China tourists were going to be a target, then we would need to find out who would be the key touring company and so forth in China. So, okay, in the marketing plan, here's where we get talking about what I mentioned before, and we talk about the P's of marketing, and this template really came from the business plan competition format that was, if I found on the website, and they've talked about here. They got about 5 P's of credit, or excuse me, 5 P's of marketing: product to service, price, placement, promotion, and positioning. So those are all things that we talked about briefly in the marketing video. So target marketing and target segmentation. The target market, obviously, we talked about who the target audience, and what small segment of the industry or what small segment of the market are we targeting. So that's a very important part of this. But then really gets down to where the rubber meets the road. How does this all work financially? Obviously, we're talking about a business, so the financials must work. So one thing that we look at is how many sales you need to make before you cover your expenses. That's a break-even analysis. An income statement is, are you making any money on an accrual income basis? Balance sheet. What are your assets? What are your liabilities? Do you have a net worth, and is that net worth sustainable over the years as you grow? Cash flow budget. It's nice to show that you make money, but sometimes you run out of cash. This is particularly important in a startup company, because you start off with minimal cash, usually the minimum you need, and then you buy your inventory. In a business that sells products, you buy your inventory, you pay your employees, all that takes money well before the time the receipts come in, before the sales happen. And so we'll have a similar situation in the touring company idea, but without a product. So we'll still have some expenses, whether it be advertising and employee costs and so forth. There may be down payments we make to hold rooms. There may be down payments that need to be made for terms of transportation, those kinds of things. What's cash outflow that may happen long before receipts, and is there enough cash? So if you put all these together into the financial statements, you might make some charts that are the meaningful elements of that, and then you write it up. Does this make sense? How long will it take to break even? How long will it take to actually recover the investment, upfront investment? Does it have a favorable internal rate of return? Will this generate reasonable salaries and wages for employees and so forth? And then there might be appendices that might be appropriate. For example, it might be a mock-up of the website, or it might be maybe some of the financial charts or so forth. So all these are elements of the business plan. And as we progress through this semester, portions of this will be assigned to different members of the class. We'll discuss them all in the class and come to consensus on them, but there'll be somebody or somebodies responsible for actually writing up this segment of the business plan. Now, this template is just obviously very much an overview. There is more that you can find, and you should read. It's assigned reading. CATS, Chapter 8, Business Plans, Seeing Audiences and Your Business Clearly, pages 202 to 233. And also skim read the example business plan on pages 236 and 260. These are just examples, and I said you just skim them because the details are not important. The important thing is in that example just to get a sense of the format, the kinds of things that are being said, the kinds of things that you need to pull together, just to give you some idea. I will also attempt to get the business plan that was written by Vidley in Business 494 last winter, because his was the best of the ones that were submitted by the students then. And I think you'd be interested in seeing what he did when he was proposing to open a barber shop in Kaliningrad. So he did quite a good job, and that would be just sort of an example of sort of what you should be aiming for. Although, frankly, I think we'll do a lot better. Number one, our research and analysis is going to be far deeper than I think he was able to do. On the other hand, he had some pretty good financial information because he had previously managed one of these barber shops. So he had good financial information, where our financial information might be sort of speculative, because we won't know how many people we'll get. We can assume, make certain assumptions, but like in the Vladko situation, ultimately whether our assumptions would be realized in real life remains to be seen. So, hey, stay tuned. We're looking forward to putting this business plan together. I'm looking forward to seeing, can we make a business plan together that makes sense so that we could actually move forward on this. So there's a lot to learn, a lot of details, and I'm looking forward to this process. So have a good night.